Hey guys, it's Car Guy 11. This week I have my first track day of the season, and I wanted to do a little video to show you guys what I do to get prepared, make sure everything's right with the car before taking it up to over 100 mile an hour on a track. So in this video, you'll see exactly what prep I go through for a track day. Well, the first thing I usually do is check the torque on all the wheels. You want to make sure you're within factory spec, and it's 100 foot-pounds on the Corvette, and in particular I'm running the wheel spacers, so I want to make sure everything's tightened up, and I use my plastic bag trip to prevent any scratches on the black wheel lugs. And they're all tight so far. It's a good sign. Now while you're down here, you definitely want to check out the brake pads and make sure you have enough life left on them. And these are actually getting pretty close to being replaced. They're about 50%. And you want at least 50% before a track day. So after this next track day, I'll see what they look like and decide what I'm going to replace them with. Also, if you're taking your Corvette on the track, the factory filled brake fluid is .3, and you actually want to get that changed to the .4 performance fluid. I had mine changed last year by the dealer when I had it in, but for some reason GM fills Corvettes with .3 just like every one of their other cars, so definitely do that if you're going to take yours on a track. And this is the clutch fluid if you see .4 here. They use .4 in the clutch fluid but not in the brake fluid for some reason. So now you're also going to want to make sure your tread depth on your tires is okay. Obviously you don't want anything wearing through or close to the belts, and I've seen that before, especially with the negative camber running a track setup. So be sure to check out all four wheels, make sure your tires are looking great. And as far as your tire pressures go, you're actually going to run them lower than the factory setting because the tires heat up on the track. So from the factory, Corvette recommends 30 psi. I usually run them around 28 psi, and then they heat up to around 35 psi on the track. So you can monitor that, and you don't want to overinflate them, definitely. So I'll probably get these. Right now I'm reading a little low. It's about 26 psi, so I'll probably add a little bit of air to these and get them to about 28 psi. But that's a good tip there. Just you don't want to overinflate the tires because you'll actually lose performance. Alright, next you want to check your oil level. And on the C7 Corvette with the dry sump system, the Z51s have this, and the Z06s and Grand Sports, you actually have to check your oil when the engine is warmed up. And you turn off the car and you have to wait between 5 and 10 minutes, and that's the right time to check it. And that's because the tank gets filled over here when the car is running. And in fact, right now it's cold and I haven't started it, so there's actually no oil showing on the stick. Now, so I will check this after I had the car out for a drive. But the other thing I do is I don't fill it all the way, because there's been reports that if you fill it all the way, some oil gets injected into the intake because it overflows with foaming and stuff. So this is a dry sump system with about 10 quarts of oil, and I don't think it's necessary. I usually keep it about halfway on the dipstick, and that's sufficient. I haven't seen any issues, so just a little tip there. And on the inside of your car, be sure it's cleaned out. You don't want anything flying around. Most tracks require your windows to be down and going over 100 mile an hour. You don't want anything flying around your car. So be sure you have everything cleaned out and everything mounted securely. Alright, and don't forget the most important safety item is your helmet. Now check with your track, but they changed the standard last year. 2015 is the latest helmet standard, and it's the Snell 2015. And I actually just got a new helmet last year because of that standard. But most tracks will accept a year or two before, so the 2010 standard or possibly the 2005 standard. I use the open face helmet because I feel it's less claustrophobic and you get more air. It's a little cooler to me, but you can also use the closed face design, of course. Just make sure it's the SA 2015 standard. Okay guys, that's my track day prep. Now that's tailored to the Corvette, but you can apply that to most other vehicles. And stay tuned for upcoming track day video. As long as the weather holds out, I'll be going to the track this week. Also, I prepped my camera system, which I didn't cover, and I've covered on a previous video, but actually this year I'm going to be trying Harry's lap timer. So I'll go through that in a future video. I want to make sure it works right and works out the way I want it to. So definitely stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting on social media for the track day events, and I hope I'll see you next video.